Are you afflicted with CDS?
If it's an affliction with any type of old car, I'm sure I have it. Oh my God. Look at businessman right there.
Neat farm estate today. Got over 100 years of collecting. The Swedish immigrant family. 30s Dodge pickup, 70s Toronado, and a neat 51 Pontiac. We're gonna take a look at all of it. Said the barns and sheds are packed full too. Toronado's a front wheel drive car, pretty similar to the Cadillac Eldorado. Toronado's got really wacky roof on it though. This one's kind of unique because it is factory sunroof car. Got the Grand Prix style door handles there. This old rig's been sitting a while. Such a unique style to this car at every corner. It would have been really fun to be part of the design team when they came up with these. See, the back bumper's so rusty it's about to fall off. Car's been parked 25 years. These things really have to be pretty nice to have much collector value. So this old 51 Pontiac, they pulled out of one of the barns here. You see, been stored away for quite a long while. Can't remember when they said this thing was parked. I think there's still an old tag on the back we'll check out in a minute. This one, I believe, yeah, 51. See the body and trim information there on the tag. Not exactly sure what paint shade this is, but it's lacquer. Not too many vehicles were built with straight eights. Pontiac was a flathead, and then your Packard, and then Buick had the overhead valve. In this era, that was about it. Your General Motors cars in the early 50s had a long 6-volt battery. Sit under the cover there. Long hoods of these cars, it was just kind of a way to tuck it in there a little more effectively. This is a 2-door hardtop. Styling of these was real similar to the convertible. It's pretty optioned out. Got your sun visor. There's a two-tone. Wow, leather interior on a 51 car. That's just more in keeping with the convertible aesthetic. Show you up in there. They even did headliner bows that looked like convertible top irons. Had the header there with the visors down low, just like a convertible. So yeah, 1960. This old Pontiac was only driven for 9 years total. Always wonder on a car like this, was there a reason, good or bad? Did they have some minor mechanical thing that they didn't want to fix or something major? Or did they know what the car was and just intentionally park it away and preserve it? A lot of extra documentation with it here. Accessory catalog. CDS, what in the world? Okay, yeah, complete driving satisfaction. Kind of a kitschy, goofy hook, but this is a really fun era because right after World War II, the late 40s, you couldn't get a whole lot as far as new cars. There were waiting lists. and it was basically warmed over 42 models. But by the time 51 came along, they'd all been restyled. You had your envelope bodies with the integral fenders and quarter panels. You had your color and style underneath. There's a book of lube coupons. You can see this dealership changed names and they just stamped the new one over. Take a look inside here. Car was sold new to Frank Stanley. Always love seeing when one of these cars comes with a documentation for it. Just a relief that the mice didn't chew it up. Over here on the dash, we've got the prismatic traffic light viewer. And the mileage is just 63,000 original. You can see the Texaco sticker. Imagine this old car pulled in front of a vintage Texaco station. Pretty cool picture of Americana. Accessory fender skirts, fuel door guard, rear bumper wings, rear bumper overrider. What a neat car. I actually think all that chrome and the stainless trim got cleaned around. Probably could get most of the factory shine back. It's just such a real sweetheart of a time capsule old car. Seldom ever find them like this. I think a little bit of cleaning, a little bit of elbow grease, knock the barn dust off, and that old paint would pop again. They have a little light under the hood there, and then this other wire that runs all the way through the hood is for the light up hood ornament. 51, it was an amber colored insert. Other years they had clear. These Indian heads were quite a piece of the tie-in for Pontiac's marketing for a lot of years. I like this car a lot, but not sure what kind of crowd's going to show up here, so we'll see what happens. Few relics in this shed. This oddball is a stationary exercise bike made by Walton. Kind of odd to not have a wheel. All the machinery's inside of it. Vintage scales. Over here, a green wagon. It's probably pre-war era. Ben's bicycle. Not terribly old. There's a badge there. Well, painted anyway. Schwinn, yeah. See if this thing focuses for me. There you go. Some of these old bikes, they tell me, are worth more parted out than they are complete. But if somebody wanted to fix that one up, it's still looking in pretty good shape. Old plow. So these were first generation Swedish immigrants 140 years ago maybe. So that plow's probably something they used. Honda motorcycle. Look at the barn dust on that. Not something I really know much about. If any of you guys are into motorcycles, want to share what model that is, and drop it in the comments. Thing's been parked since 1970. Out of use for a lot of decades, half a century now. Little bit of tinkering, little bit of love. Probably get it going again. Of all the old relics you find on one of these sales in an old barn, the safe is probably one that have some of the best stories to tell. Sure wish that thing could talk. In the half of this barn, they had recreated an old schoolhouse. Class is in session.
Yeah.
What's the lesson? History, obviously.
Yeah.
Took a little bit of time to put all this together.
We must have started early.
Lawrence Welk drove by his boyhood home in North Dakota this summer. They had said that one of their cousins or uncles, somebody had moved, and a lot of the stuff just got set down, unloaded here. Bunch of farm sheds on this property. They just had the space to keep old stuff around, and so they did. Big old camper. These are actually starting to get collector value. They gotta be in nice shape. This one looks like it's all fitted out with the appliances and everything. That makes a big difference on them. Being stored inside and not all weathered makes a big difference too. Got a little bit of damage in that top corner, but it'd be repairable. Those are starting to come around in the collector crowd now. '63 Corvette model car. Vintage refrigeration. Frigidaire by General Motors. This is probably early 50s. Frigidaire was divested off from General Motors in 79, so everything 79 and older says product of General Motors on the badging. These old John Deere tractors really hold their value. This thing's still being 30 years old. Pretty desirable tractor. Mainly for the reason that you have the right to repair it, which I happen to agree with. I think that proprietary information is just another form of corporate abuse, and customers should be able to repair something that they own. So that's a reason why a tractor like this still has a strong market, even though it's not the latest and newest and fanciest technology. It's still something that you can work on, and to a lot of resourceful people in rural country, that is a big deal. The extra rear wheels for it. This 81 Dodge, this is a tough one for me. It's 3/4 ton, just too rough to really have a lot of collector value. And looking at the thing, just don't know what a guy would really sell off of it for parts. Slant 6, no factory AC. Just really rough around all the edges. Take a look in here. Pretty typical farm truck inside. Just dirty, worn, sun-baked. Mileage is 75,000, which could be original. There's a good chance. A lot of these were just used between farm and fields and town. Interesting old Zenith portable radio there. Some of that old electronic stuff even has good collector interest now. This is an old farm that wasn't loyal to any one specific brand. Got your Massey tractor with the aftermarket loader. Something like this that sat for a while. Could go either way. If it's a rare one, probably be worth fixing up, or if it's more common, might just be parts. It's a modern enough tractor. It does have the PTO there on the back. Next in the row is the old Case farm wagon. probably 50s or 60s era would be my guess. Just a high side flatbed. You could haul about any bulk commodity. Mismatched with the David Bradley running gear. To the right collector, it'd be a good display piece with old case tractor. Steel wheeled wagon. These were built for quite a while, even into the Great Depression, so they're not a super ancient relic. Now that the crowd's moved, finally get a chance to look at the old Dodge. Believe it's going to be 37 or 38. There's not just a huge difference between those 2 years that I could tell anyway. Sat here for a long time. Unfortunately, somebody snapped off the ram hood ornament. Still does have the original enameled wing badge on the front. This thing's rough as a cob, but Depression era pre-war trucks definitely aren't around every corner. And for this really old stuff, the guy definitely has to take what you can get. And you can see they just stitched it back together, kept it going. It's led a hard life, but for what's here, it still can be brought back.
About 300 of them or more.
These are just about as basic and simple as any vehicle could get. Still does have the original tailgate, which is pretty uncommon to find on one of these. Hey, Poochie. Looks like there is still an old tag on it. This thing was parked in 49. So just barely over a decade's time for this truck to get this beat down. See, it is a 6-lug pattern, which I think would make it a 3/4 ton. Not exactly sure on that. Somebody said that they tried to buy this thing for decades, family would never sell, but today's the day it's finding a new home. Still retains the original flathead 6-cylinder. It would surprise me a lot if it still turned, but you never know.
Oh, that one you're looking at? Over here.
The furniture out in front of the house, we will probably sell after we get the vehicles and the machinery sold. The north wants to have stuff in it. There's items everywhere. The anvil and the 2 big crocks are up to the north. We will get them for sure before we sell, before noon. Don't know where else we'll be. Appreciate you being here. Get your hand in the air. We don't want to miss you. There's no buyer's fee. There's no sales tax. What you give for it is what it costs. You got a lunch stand here. Not real. That's not. 500, 250, 300. Now half. 350. 450. 5. 5.5. 6. 650. 7. 7.5. Now we 850 here. 9. 9.5. 950. 1,000. Not a mail and a half. 1050 here. Batting about 1050. 1,500 here. Batting about 1050. 1,500 here. Batting about 1050 here. Batting about $1,000.50. 1050. So $1,000 mail first. That's 37. 37. Now back has got. Now, Chris, come here and tell me the story here.
I have no idea.
Have you got a bill of sale?
I do, over the truck. I'm going to
There is a bill of sale on this car right here.
Yep.
They probably bought it new. They bought it new. Is it a 51 or a
paperwork that I saw was 51.
51.
There any keys?
48. 48?
For you all,
Where's Tim?
I got 51.
It's a 51.
it is a 51.
That's what I was told.
It is a 51.
I'm too young to argue with any of it.
You all, we all know.
It's sat in the shed for 30 years. And we found it and we parked it. It's been in the shed for a long time.
No keys, right?
No.
They have never found the keys. Never found the keys. Never found the keys, but they bought it new, and it's been over here in the building. You're going to get a bill of sale. Stay here, Chris. I got another one coming. So, you got to buy the Pontiac right here. Somebody give $5,000 on it. 2,500, 1,500. Now 2,000, 1,500 and 2,000. $2,000 here, right about 2,000. 15,700. You got to be 1,750. Now 2,000. 2,000, Roy. 1,750, 2,000. Think you're 1,800, sir. 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. 1,900 and 2,000. $2,000 here. Now one. Now two. 22, 3. 23, John, 23, 22 and 3. Get your man here, 23. 23 here. Ready to go. We're out, guys, 23.
Who's that?
I got this gentleman right there. You got to be 23, sir. Now 4. Now 5. 25. 6. Now 7. 2,700. 8. 28. Now 9. Now 3,000. Now 1. 31. 3,000. 3,100 here. Ready to go out. 3,100. 3,000. 3,100 out here. Ready to go out. 3,100. 3,000. 3,100. 3,100. Want to get 1? 31. 31 here. Ready to go out. 3,000. 3,100. 3,100 out of here. Want to get 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 32. 32, 3, 3,300, 33, 32 and 3, 3,300 here. Got to go by 3,300. 32 and 3 here. Got to go by 33. 32 and 3 here. Got to go by 3,300 here. Got to go by 3,300. Anybody else? 3,300, 32 and 3, 3,300 out of here. Got to go by 3,300. Sold at 3,200, Tim. That's 67. 67. Now, tell us about this.
You get it?
What about the
I got it.
Hey, I'll talk to you one other thing. You got it, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Over to the truck. So they'd be
30 what?
32.
32.
But you do have
Should
a
be
bill of
nice
sale.
if you get her done.
Now, this
Yeah.
belongs to a brother that passed away several years ago, and they need to get it out of his name into the trust. There's a possibility you'll get a title, but there's a possibility you might not. So you are going to get a bill of sale. It is a, what year is this, guys? Tell us. 78. That sound right? Going to buy a 78.
I think 77 on the registration.
77. Yes, sir. Going to buy the Tornado right there.
Tornado.
Somebody give a $1,000 bill for it. 500, 500, 250, 250, 250 on here. $100 bill for it. $100 bill on here. 100. $100 bill here. 100 here. Better to buy 100 here. $100 bill. $50. 50. Where's your Iron Man? $50. 50. 50. 75. 75. $75. 75. 50. 75. Got to come after one. Just go get two. 75. Now 100, 100, 100, 100, 75 and 100. $100 here, 100, 100 here, better about 75 and 100. 100 here, better $100. $100 here, now a quarter, 100 and a quarter, now half, 175, 200, now a quarter, 2 and a quarter, did you get 2 and a quarter? Now I'm way behind, 2 and a quarter, now half, 250, Rick, 250. 225, 50, 250, Rick, 250, 250 here, right about 250, 225 and 50 here, right about 250, 225 and 50 here, right about 250, 225 and 50 here, right about 250 here, right about 250, 225, 250, sold it, 225, 5050. Let's get this pickup forward here, right over here on this Dodge Brothers pickup. Same story here, you're going to get a bill of sale. What year is this, guys?
I think this is 49. This last tag is 49.
Tag is 49. Would it be earlier than that?
37 or 8.
38.
38.
38. It is a 38. Somebody give $500 on this job for it. 250. 250.
Sure.
Now 300. Now 4. 500, 600, 600 here, ready, what, 600, 600 here, gotta be a half. 550, 550 here, ready, 550, 550 here, about 600. $600, 600, 650, 657, 700, now half, 7 half, now 800, now half, 850, 850, 850 here, ready, 850, 850 here, ready, 850, 850 here, ready, 850 here, ready, 850, 800 and a half here, now 900, now half, 950, 950. 900 and a half, 950, 900 and a half here, better what, 950, 950 here, better what, 950 here, better what, 950 here, better what, 950. Sold it, $900 to number 45, 45. We're going right over here, right north of the barn. Right north of the barn, we'll go up that line of machinery. 250, 150 on it, $100 bill, 100, now quarter, 100 a quarter. 1 and a quarter, 150, 150, 75, 175, 100, now 200, 200, now quarter, 2 and a quarter, 225, 15, 250 here, everybody come on, 250, 75, 275, 275 here, everybody come on, 275, 250, 75 rate, 275, 250, 275 here, everybody come on, 275, 250 and 75 here, everybody come on, 275, 250, 275. Sold it, 250, Roy, that is 128, 128. Cattle panels don't sell, we'll go right up the line, then we'll come back on the back side. You're going to buy a case. She's got a dump plate, dump on her. Give 150 on that case wagon, 100, 100, now quarter, 100 a quarter, 100 a quarter, 125, 125, 125 here, better about 125, 125 here, better 125. Yep. Now 50, 175, 175, 175. Yep. Now 200, now quarter, 2 and a quarter and a half, 2 and a half, 75, 275, 250, 75, 250, 275 here, better come on, 275, 250, 75 here, better come on, 250, 275. Sold it, 250 to number 12, 250 to number 12. All right, 950, all out here, 950, now 1,000, 1,050, 1050, 11, 1,100, 1,100, 1050, 1,100, 1,100 here, better about 1050, 1,100, $1,100 here, better about here, better about 1050, 1,100, 1,100 here, 11 here, better about 1050, 1,100, sold at 1,050 to number 8. I will tell you, Roger, 45.55, how many hours? 37.48, they would be active. They're active. They want to talk to food. They want to talk to food. When we get through some of the time, we're going to sell the loader. If you don't get the loader right, Chris will help me get these sons of practice off. We're never going to put it together. We're going to 45.55. Somebody give them our $45. Get $30. $30. 25. 25. 25,000. 15, 16,000, 17, 17,000, 16, 17,000, 17,000, 18, 18, 19, 20, 21, 21, 2, 22, 23, now 4, 24, 5, 25, 6,000, now 7, 27,000, 8, 28, now 9, 29 here, ready at 29,000. 28, 29, 49,000 here, ready at 28, 9, 49,000 here, ready at 29, 29,000, 28, 29, 40, now 30,000, now 1. 31,000, 31,000, 31,000, 31,000, 31,000 here, ready to 31, 31,000 here, ready to 31,000, 30,000, 31,000, $31,000 here, ready to 31,000, $31,000 here, ready to 31,000 here, ready to 31. 31,000, 31,000, 30,000, 31,000, $31,000 here, ready to 31,000, 31, now you want to get 30,500. Now 1, now 5, 31,500, 31,500, 31,500, 31,500, 31,500 here, ready to anybody else, 31,500, $31,500 here, ready to 31,500, 31,500 here, ready to 31,500, 31,500 here, ready to 31,500, 31,500 for your shirt, 31,500, 31,500 here, 31,500. Sold Number 30. Number 30. Number 30. Same story. I think you'll get a bill of sale here.
Bill of sale.
Bill of sale. What year is this, guys? Tell us.
70, I think.
79?
81.
81?
Yeah.
Okay. We go buy that Dodge pickup. Somebody get 500 there.
83. Yeah.
100 out of there. 100. 55. 75. 75. 75. 75. 75. 50. 75, 50, 75.
You must be really getting out of the junk business.
75, 50, 75.
It's tempting.
$75 here, back lot 75. $75 here, back lot 75. 50, 75 here, back lot 75. 50, 75 here, back lot 75. Now 70, 75 here, back lot 50, 75. $50 to 94, 94. All right, going to buy a John Deere 280 loader. You come off that tractor. If you don't get the loader, they'll have to get the price. You're going to buy that loader right there. It's going to be like $7,500 loader. Buy that. 25. Yeah. 3,000. 3,000. Got to be 3,000. 4,000. 3,000. 45. 45. Now, let's go over a lot more. $20 for it all. $10 on it all. Now 15, 50, 50 here, ready to buy 10 to 50, 50 here, ready to buy 50 here, and I'm right there, 10 to 50. Everything right here. Right here. All kinds of pieces, parts, tools, toolbox. Everything right here.
Still has mud under it from the last time it was driven.
Right. That's solid.
Right, dude, this car's nice.
Old barn find. Still got the straw packed in the front bumper. Old Swedish farmer.
Say,
Yeah.
Scandia?
Scandia? Scandia, yeah.
Yep.
Like Scandinavia with some of the letters missing.
I have I have one of my 60 Exo from Lynchburg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the guy's name was, oh my God, it was just called
63K original, engine turns.
It's just so perfect. This car, I mean, it's a clone condition-wise. It's like 54. Oh my God, I love this thing.
Kind of a neat story. They were second generation, these kids, and there were two brothers and a sister, and per whatever terms of the inheritance, they would have been disinherited had any of them married, because those original parents wanted that stuff to stay in the family, and so none of them ever married.
Wow, really?
Yep.
That's old school family rule.
Yeah. But they still spoke Swedish in the home as kids. So on this auction there were a bunch of Swedish books. I'll show you that one. It's from I think probably World War I, of all the old Swedish ships and stuff. I assume anyway. I can't exactly read the copy. Yeah, he bought this new 63K on it. It's amazing because, you know, most of these conservative farmers would have bought a 4-door and it would have been totally clapped out. They would have put the engine in a farm truck, torched the front hubs off to make a bale trailer, and wadded the rest up in a creek bed somewhere. And so for something to be stuck away in the barn completely original, and the guy to care enough to option it like this new and to buy a 2-door hardtop.
It's like my 59 Electra that I got.
Yeah.
Lavender 59 Electra and a farmer buys that car, 2-door hardtop.
Yeah.
I think he just had that, you know, I want a sporty car because he traded in a 55 special 4-door for this 59 Electra.
Parked in 60, so they drove it 9 years.
9 years, yeah.
And then just stuck it away.
Been in the trunk yet?
I have not. No, they didn't have keys.
I have to have it.
You always see like the first 3 or 4 of them are torn out, and then the rest of them.
They're like, yeah, that was a pain in the ass. Let's not do that again.
Yeah.
Hooper Pontiac, but I can't read that. Well, Channel Pontiac Company. But H-O-O. Just say, Hooper Pontiac and Hooper.
Oh, they stamped it once and then couldn't read it.
Yeah.
I wonder. Oh, there was that Ford dealership in Whitewater, and it changed hands like 6 times. Like every 5 years, it had a different name for a couple decades. They're like, we're too cheap to reprint new ones. We'll just stamp it. Stamp it, call it good. Frank Stanley. What to do for CDS? Are you afflicted with CDS?
If it's an affliction with any type of old car, I'm sure I have it. Look at businessman right there. Yeah, it's time to go service my Pontiac. This is so fucking cool.
I'd like to go through that little catalog and just add up how many. Like 13 and a half, being that the exhaust deflector is broken off. Gas tank, stainless steel Nomar guard, bumper guards, grill guard, rear deck guard, exhaust deflector.
Does it have the exhaust deflector?
Half of it.
Oh, okay. So
13 and a half.
Wow. Oh man, it would have had a rear window Venetian blind too. That'd have been cool.
No Venetian blind. It's got no locking fuel cap.
The multi-purpose lamp. That should be under the deck lid.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful washable nylon slip covers. Don't need that because you got leather.
Door scuff
Flash
pads.
vanity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Day-night mirror.
Yeah. It's got the stoplight prism.
Yep.
And that one's specific to this car because of how it goes over like that versus
Oh,
having
yep.
just the regular chrome post.
Yep.
And it's the one on my 54, since my car is coral, the top of this is painted coral instead of black.
Nice.
And this is
Like a charcoal.
Is it black?
Or black.
I was wondering
yeah.
if it was blue. But mine is actually painted coral. I've never seen that before.
Wow.
Directional signals.
Yep, directional signals.
Rear
Electric
window
clock.
wiper. That would have been on the fastbacks. They didn't put them on the coupes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. windshield washers.
Dude, how cool would that be? A Remington Auto Home electric shaver. Portable refrigerator.
Glove compartment light. Utility pocket. Where's that? Oh. Nope, no utility pocket. Portable refrigerator. Toolkit and tools. Maybe in the trunk. Never know. Underhood trouble light. Oh, but I'm sure it's no pedal extensions. They weren't short like me. Magnetry. Holds fast to the dash. Oh, no. Magnetry.
Man, that would have been nice if it had the illuminated Dinsmore compass.
Yep.
Did all sorts of
Little
two
buttons
vents. Yeah, I
and
don't know what those are. That one actually had something that slipped in it. Dual backup lights. Yeah, it sure does.
sure does.
Safety jack. I'm sure it has that non-glare rear view mirror. Yep. It has the
Yep.
non-glare outside rear view. Sure enough.
Sure enough.
Fog lights. They had
Yep.
fog lights, didn't it?
They're kind of in tough shape, but I was looking on eBay
Says
and there's
guide.
yeah, there's a bunch of these 2025As on eBay.
Did they go-
So they
I bet you. I don't know. Probably something.
wouldn't be terribly hard to replace.
Oh my god, look at that. Okay, first of all, you have this. But no, let's continue to
But wait, there's
accessorize.
more.
But wait, there's more. Holy crap, there's some more accessories. Rear fender panels has those at Spencer. It could have been misplaced. The chrome plated license frame. Illuminated head ornament, of course it has that. Wheel trim rings.
Hubcaps.
It's got hubcaps.
Full covers, yeah.
Stainless steel wheel discs. That's what it has. The deluxe steering wheel, which it does have.
Yep.
That's your deluxe steering wheel. Okay. Chieftain 7-tube radio. Yes, it says Chieftain on it. Count the tubes.
Count the tubes.
Rear seat radio speaker. No.
Nope.
You went cheap on the radio.
Yep.
Windshield sun visor. Traffic light meter. Foam tex latex seat cushions. It's got leather. Chrome plated venti shades. I would assume that's those, but possibly. Venti heat, underseat heater, and defroster. Sure enough. Got a gigantic vent right there at your feet. God, that's so cool.
People think heated seats are a new.
Pontiac had it figured out. Dash heater and defroster. Yep, it's got defroster. Below the chrome molding, it's got the big gap. Pretty much all of them, except for there's a couple. Oh no, get in the trunk. I bet you that's some more. And of course, the safety spotlight, that was just a plug-in deal that you plugged into the lighter, so that could have been misplaced over some time.
Yep. Not so much. I mean, it is about the car itself, but it's just about the story, you know, like second generation Swedish immigrant. They all settled up north because it was cold.
Yeah. Yeah, like
And to have, you know, all the original stuff with it in the books and This was one of my favorite auctions of 2022. Came for the old cars and tractors, and it was just neat to see original farmstead from immigrants from Sweden 150 years ago. So along with the Pontiac, I did try and pick up a few little things to tell the story of the place up there. So this is an old souvenir license plate, kind of in rough shape, but I think with a little evaporust, probably can get some color to come back. If a person does ever want to restore a license plate, there actually are people around that do just that. And something like this, they'll take one in this condition, even rusted out, and I think it's $125 to do a restoration, which honestly, for the work that they complete, isn't that bad. So this book is Christopher Columbus, written in Swedish, from 1908. This is actually published in Sweden. You can see the address of the bank there in Sweden. Love these because you have the old lithographs and woodcuts. They're just fascinating for the art and all of that. This is kind of a neat book, Handbook of the United States. So that shows just different things that any of these old immigrants would have wanted to look up. Talks about each state in there. Again, more of the art, the woodcuts, the lithographs, the line drawings. Just fascinating old book. This is the one that had the old ships. Can't remember. I think this might be like a World War I era, but it's just hard to tell from what's in the pictures. There's a 1908 newspaper stuck inside. Old glossy paper stays in a little better shape. You can tell it's actually still white and not oxidized down. Although it has gotten a little bit dog-eared over the years. Yeah, these are pretty cool. So check that out. That's a line showing the passenger ships, all the places they would go. The train you could take out west once you got here. This is such an amazing book because it just shows so much world history. This could even be earlier, just showing regular military operations. Hard to tell because I don't necessarily speak Swedish, obviously. Like there's Havana, there's some places in Cuba, so this could even be earlier. Spanish American era. Although I don't necessarily know what part would have been played by the Swedish. Any of our Swedish guys can tell us what some of those are in the table of contents. And the last book, this is the one that's in Swedish. William McKinley tribute book. Kind of a cool piece. And it's basically translated. For a lot of these immigrants who still spoke their primary language of the homeland in their home. This is obviously the US version in English, which is one that I had found later this fall at the flea market there. Almost seems like there's less pictures in the US version. So there we have it. Really cool old place. They did say that the house had actually been built over the original dugout. So a lot of these settlers, when they would first come, they would literally pretty much dig a hole in the ground, and they would take the sod, the dirt out, and pack that in blocks and put maybe some store-bought materials over it, some planks for the roof, and that's essentially what they would spend their first winter in, huddled up, and they would stay there till they grow first year of crops, break that sod with the plows. It's just a different class of people than what we have now. I don't know that too many of us, and probably myself included, would have the self-discipline and the fortitude to go out on the prairie and literally start from just the land and a few things you packed along and start out a new life like that. So it's just neat to see a 150-year-old farmstead that really tells the story, at least a little part of it, of the settling of the United States.